All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Councilmember Cook?
Here.
Councilmember Fairley?
Here.
Councilmember Osborne? Here. Councilmember Thomas?
Here. I make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Been a motion and a second to approve tonight's agenda. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. No presentations this evening. Discussion, first on the agenda is the 167 ditch drone footage.
So Miss Jessica has that. We flew it the following Monday. So what she's going to get the stuff right?
Which is today?
Or last Monday, a week ago, or Tuesday, excuse me, day after the last workshop. We flew it and we got some good footage. It didn't go as far south as I wanted them to do, but it does give a good representation of how much work was done Russ's team did to the ditch. So, if you want, while she's getting the thumb drive, I can start my presentation on the breakdown of the crime data, or show the video.
She is.
Yeah. Let me just put it on. Okay. So it's now traveling westbound along the old roadway there at the curve at Algona Boulevard North and Boundary. On the right-hand side, and Russ, chime in if you want to add anything. On the right-hand side is the city of Auburn. On the left-hand side is the city of Algona. We just passed that ditch that's in the middle of that property we're in the process of purchasing. On the left-hand side, and then as you can see on the right-hand side, a lot of cloggage. It's not beaver dams, but there's a lot of cattails and a lot of things in there. On that whole area over there is supposed to be a pond. Now we're coming up onto the area we might have cheated into Auburn where we cleaned up. And now, if you remember those other pictures, how narrow that was, and you can barely see the water. Now you can just look at that channel. So. And believe it or not, that water's flowing. However slightly, it's flowing. But it did address the flooding issues to an extent on the north end of town. I had one person comment on all the trash from the freeway on the access road there, but we'll definitely, but if you can see, how wide is that, Russ?
It's probably about 10 to 15 feet wide.
Wow, that's great.
And so now he's going south. And he, as you can see, stays wide the whole way. And even, you know, as he turns around, I asked him to go down to 6. He did not. My apologies. But as you can see, a very wide swath that we cleared out of there, and that water drained into that larger ditch. And if you look north, and I think he has painted here north, you're going to be able to see that that whole area that's supposed to be a retention pond is clogged up. Right there, you can see it just not being taken care of by Auburn. So you can see all that. That should be cleaned out. That's supposed to be a pond.
So they went down to 7.
Yeah, we went down to 8 there, that photo there. Again, I asked him to go to 6. So
Can you pause it right here? Is it water overtopping this going into here? How tall, what's the
elevation.
freeboard there?
It's probably 3 foot, but it's not going over the banks right there.
Okay.
You want me to rewind it and pause it anywhere else?
No, that's good.
That doesn't look like a retention pond at all.
I don't see any beavers.
Well said, Miss Linda, well said.
There's a little bit of a wall.
My drone pilot, one of them's on graveyard right now and the other's out on baby leave. So, but I've emailed them both, and that we're going to sit down, we're going to develop a plan where we go from one end of town to the other. If there's any other areas you would like to see aerial footage of, please shoot Jessica an email and we'll coordinate that.
One place I'd like to see is the wetland, down here off Ellison.
Absolutely. The one we just dedicated?
Yes.
Absolutely. We can do that. I think at one time we did do it. I'm not going to commit to that because I got a ton of drone footage that I haven't really sorted through. But we'll redo it. There you go.
It probably changed a lot since the last time.
Mm-hmm. Any further questions or requests?
No, thank you.
Okay.
That's great, thank you, Chief. Next on the agenda is the police crime stats.
Okay. So just kind of continuation off last workshop where I just broke down the call data for traffic and the types of traffic, how many traffic stops historically over the last 3 years. So this is the other side of the coin, all the other stuff, but I also included traffic in here so you can kind of see. The other thing that I did is I broke it down by day. So you can see this is how many calls for the year of 2021 we did on Sunday. This is how many calls. So as you go through this, please ask me to slow down if you need to or you need information. So I also want to point out this date is good, effective October 20th, 2023. This is when I did this presentation. I got it done. So again, I included the 18 makeup, 1 police chief, 1 sergeant, 1 corporal, 5 patrol officer, 1 reserve officer, 1 office manager, 1 specialist. All right, I include some definitions, calls for service. All calls that are handled by the A-team, both self-initiated and dispatch. And what I mean by a dispatch call, if somebody calls 911 or non-emergency, hey, and you can see I put the definition down here. Dispatch calls that come in on 911 or the non-emergency line and assigned to officers by body count. And then self-initiated calls, pretty self-explanatory. It's stuff we see while we're out and about and we go ahead and take action. Types of calls of service. We respond to various types of calls throughout the shift. CAD has it broke down in about 130 different categories. Obviously, I do not have the bandwidth to put all 130 categories on here. And believe it or not, sometime through the year, we touch all 130 categories. So what I did is I tried to give you a snapshot of the calls that we quite frequently go to, kind of give you a shot in the day in the life of it. So these were updated from the previous presentation. You'll note the first 2 are going to be the same. In 2021, 4,884. There was a misprint on the previous one. I put 4,885. It's actually 84. In 2022, 4,031 calls for service, and as of October 20th, 4,828 calls for service, and so far handled by the A-team. And you'll note we're well on pace to be 2021. Okay, here's a snapshot of 2021. If you look down on the bottom, you'll see I included the types of crime. So light green is domestic violence. You can see that 2021, domestic violence. And I'm going to give people like Jessica credit, Kari credit. We did a lot of domestic violence awareness before COVID, and Mayor Linnell as well. We formed a DV task force. There was a concerted effort to really work on lowering our domestic violence numbers. And as you can see there, in 2021, pretty steady, low, not a big number. The dark green number is traffic. So you can see 146 on Sundays, 181 on Monday, Tuesday, you see 149. One of those numbers in there is traffic complaints. See the burnt orange, right? So traffic complaints are phoned in. Hey, I think this is bad, and you need to go investigate it. Type of traffic stuff. So, any questions so far? And I put the totals at the top. My apologies, I had to squeeze it in a little bit.
What's the citizens assist?
Citizen assist may be, hey, can you help me get into my house? Can you change my tire? Can you
Just any request for help.
find me services? That's correct.
Change the oil.
Not changing the toilet. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Break down the calls by day of the week. So as I talked earlier, I was able to break it down. So on Sunday in 2021, for the whole year, we had 663 calls on Sunday. Monday, oddly enough, 703. And then the other top two is Thursday and Saturday, no shocker there. That little bar down at the bottom, that's the average call per officer per shift. So in 2021, each officer on a regular shift handled 13 calls per service. So they're hustling. Well, not every one of them is going to be paper. I mean, I could get that granular if you want to further report, but I'm glad, like I said, I'm a numbers guy. So some other types of calls for 2021, 19 DUIs, 6 were related to collision investigations. So that means we were called to an accident and the cause of that accident was a DUI. So that's honestly, for Algona, that's a high number. So this is my favorite, 24 recovered stolen vehicles, 21 of them of the stolen vehicles were from other jurisdictions. So we get a lot of dump stolens from Federal and Auburn, translation. So we had one major assault case, shooting. That case was cleared by an arrest, and cleared by an arrest, excuse me. And we had 133 warrant arrests. All right, so now we're into 2022. Snapshot again on Sundays. You again pay attention to the domestic violence calls. This is during the heart of COVID. They were up a little bit, but nothing crazy. The other thing, dark green again, pay attention to those traffic stops. The burnt orange, and I forgot to mention it on the other slide, those are dedicated patrols. So that's, hey, I'm out in the commercial district on a foot patrol. Hey, I'm out on the Inner River Trail on a foot patrol, right? So if you notice, that number is quite high all the way through. That tells me, and I would say my 28 years of experience, if you look at the burglaries, look at the number, how the burglaries, if I was to compare that pre-COVID and the old crew, that you would definitely see a decrease. And on our NIDers, which is our crime reporting, our crime stats to the FBI, over the last few years, we have had a decrease in crime. So just food for thought. Now, flip side of that, we've had some mail theft, we've had some other types of theft that have upticked a little bit, but nothing outside the norms as far as, data goes. Again, same thing, call breakdown. Your big, oddly enough, Thursday's the big day, and then it goes down from there. But those are the numbers broken down by the day of the week.
Any idea why Thursday's high? Is that like the end of the 4-day shifts kind of?
So during COVID, I mean, you guys notice a lot of people don't work on Fridays.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm thinking that's a new Friday.
Yeah.
I notice traffic's awful light on Fridays, and I notice, but I really notice on Thursdays that Coco Joe's is really crowded. I don't know if it's correlation there, but anyway, if you look in 2022, 14 DUIs, six of which involved in a collision. Again, that's a high number for Algona, the DUI collisions. It also means that when we're out there, we're doing good quality investigations. We're making those determinations. And so one stolen vehicle report, while we recovered 38 stolen vehicles from other jurisdictions. 22 party complaints, mostly related to the Filipino American Hall Society Hall. That's one of the things I'm very proud of. We've worked some issues out with them, and we've been able to drop that number quite a bit. So And again, just like in 2021, one major assault in 2022 that was later cleared by an arrest and tied to 3 other shootings in South King County. All right, so year-to-date numbers for 2023. Again, the blue number is going to be your traffic. I think the green, is that right? Citizen assist. And then your dark blue is going to be your burglaries. And if you notice your burglaries, those both commercial and residential are down. Your dedicated patrols is the light blue, and then the green is your traffic stops. So one of the reasons in 2023 the dedicated patrols are so high, and notice they're very high on Saturdays, Filipino American Society Hall. Each officer, when they have an event, is required to go 2 dedicated patrols per shift. So if we have 3 officers on during an event, each one of them is going to stop by there twice and do a foot patrol. So that's one of the reasons why you see it really skyrocketing on Saturday. And again, it's been one of the keys to getting things to calm down there. And the complaints have really dropped down. We're back to having a great working relationship with the Filipino Society. And I look forward to their next couple of events. I think we've got some things for that. Yes, sir.
Is there any way that we can talk them into lighting up the parking lot?
Oh, yeah.
That has been suggested.
Because it's pretty dark, in the middle of some of the holiday deals and things. It's pretty dark out there, especially in winter time.
Yep. No, I absolutely agree. We can make that suggestion. Yep. So then again, so far this year, as you can see on Saturday, and again, that goes back to the dedicated patrols, but 858 calls for service on Saturdays. The other numbers are self-explanatory. And then if you notice down at the bottom, we're down to 12 calls per shift per officer. Is that one? All right, notable other types of calls in 2023 so far, as of October 20th. We've had 9 DUIs. I say as of October 20th, but this weekend we have 1 more. So, 2 of those DUIs were crash related. 1 stolen vehicle and 24 recovered stolen vehicles from other jurisdictions. 1 major assault so far in 2023. That assault was domestic violence related. Was investigated. The investigation resulted in an arrest and charges filed. Any questions? Is there anything else you guys would like me to dive into as far as would you like to? I know Councilmember Franco talked about, hey, the race, gender. I do that at the end of the year. I'd be glad to do that presentation, but if there's any other data you would like to dive into, you just reach out to me. I like doing this kind of stuff, if you can't tell. Our CAD system's pretty robust when it comes to doing this kind of research.
I think what would help her question would be probably from 21 and 22, maybe that kind of information. She already have that.
Yeah.
You say you do it at the end of the year, or first part of the year for that previous year.
Sure. What I can do is incorporate them. What I would like to do is to do like this, incorporate all 3 years.
Okay.
And just go, here's where we were in 21, here's where we were in 22, here's where we were in 23. And I could probably go back to 20 because it's in the accreditation file and do 20s as well.
Makes sense.
Yep. Cool. That's all I got for you. Thanks.
All right, thank you, Chief. Next is audience participation. The City Council encourages public participation during meetings of the City Council and welcomes your comments. This time is set aside for you to speak to the City Council and on any issues. The Council ordinarily takes non-agenda matters under advisement before taking action. You are also invited to comment on action items as they are considered during the meeting. Individual speakers will be limited to 3 minutes each in addressing the City Council. When addressing the Council, please speak clearly and audibly and state your name and address for the record. Any public comments? Okay. All right. Okay. Nothing else, we'll adjourn the meeting at 6:21.